What was that aha moment when you realized there is this need that you can cover?
I had it kind of grew over time. I don't know if it was a single moment, but I think, I kind of had it twofold where it was happening to me in my professional life, right? Where I was kind of the person who was bridging between these information tools that were being built and the folks who were needing to use them to make choices. So kind of in both having the like very hands-on experience of understanding those systems and also understanding the needs of the folks who were asking for them, right? So the team that was building and the people that were using. But then also just watching the the rest of human existence as it was happening in the 21st century, right? that I did online dating for many years, and a bunch of my friends did and still are. And watching sort of these same patterns of frustration come out of just a a lack of reorienting to this problem of how do we get our human brains to collaborate effectively with these, what are at the end of the day, dating app or otherwise, very powerful information tools. That is sort of like how I essentially just started in literally daily conversations, sort of talking people through like what that information really was and how it got there and what its limitations were and whether or not the assumptions they were making about it were likely to be true or not. This sort of holistic, probabilistic thinking that we now have to bring to our daily decision making, right? Yeah, which I'm now trying to bring to whoever has an information tool, and they're like, why is it not giving me what was promised to me? I was told that this information tool would give me everything that I need to get what I want. And so frequently that is not the case.
You said that we keep optimizing, but we never stop to ask who are we optimizing or designing the systems for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an amazing statement, which fits exactly what you were saying, because um, I think the difference between what the computing system is giving you as a result of data and what the end user is expecting, it's a huge gap. And I think translating that message, at the end, it's a translation that we would need to have. And I think if you manage to cover this with Remake the Rules, I think that's going to be a money printing machine in the nearest future.
If I can somehow get a simple solution to one of the hardest problems we've ever created.
No, but still you are on that pattern.
Yes.
Emily, you talk about optimization fatigue.
Hmm.
Um, how did Remake the rules become your answer to the cultural pressure?
I think, like for me, Remake the Rules is about understanding that we essentially live in a dynamic landscape with a bunch of pressures that were not designed for us individually in mind. So they might not work very well for us, or they might actively be working against us,
Mm-hmm.
right? And absolutely, there are a lot of powers from these information technology tools that I do think have a lot of positive potential, but they are not about us, and they are not about the positive potential that I can achieve. Dating apps is like a really good example, right? Um, I think that they can be great and that folks can absolutely use them to great effect, but that they aren't really designed to actually get people what they want, which is high compatibility relationships with people. So kind of one of the things I tend to talk about a lot is that the information within dating app profiles does not actually tell you anything about that, right? It does connect you with people. It does give you some information that may or may not be true, right? But really, it's about quantity and access. And it does those things really well. But it doesn't do the compatibility really well, right? The actual sort of complicated social desired outcomes that people are looking for.
But don't you think it has a part of input problem? Because like we usually call it shit in, shit out.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, now we talk about the dating apps. I think people are feeding a narrative there. Uh, I love to read a lot. I love to spend time watching the sunset on the beach on a Tuesday morning. And I think a big part of it is still our fault in translating not what we want to have, but or not what we are, but translating what we want to be.
Or not even that, what we think other people want us to be, which is
Exactly.
probably both wrong, honestly.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah. And this is where that sort of optimization issue, right? So that is what I would say is happening there too. That folks are saying they think my problem is not enough people are saying yes to me, right? Or swiping right to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that I need to present myself in a way that optimizes the number of people that say, yes, I want this person. I want to match with this person.
It's a matter of numbers, not of quality.
Exactly, right? Which then just leads to everyone being super frustrated that they're now spending a bunch of time interacting with people that they don't get along with, right? But it's like, okay, well, let's back it up a little bit. Let's see how we got there, right? And this is sort of the mindset shift that I work with people, but it's based in these information dynamics, right? That like what you are doing is actually setting yourself up for a worse situation because now you have a larger pool of people who are less compatible with the outcomes that you want. So you're just creating sort of more informational labor for yourself, which is already the problem that we have. So we're just kind of exacerbating that same issue.